Alrighty, everyone. So for today, we are going over our questioning pedagogical models here. So the assignment is, after watching the videos on these models, which include question and response, Socratic seminar, hot seat, fishbowl, open questioning, and CASA's 3 levels of questioning, we need to explain how we would set up our classroom in terms of one of these strategies, as well as provide 3 to 5 open-ended questions, and then explain a closing activity. So in terms of that, going back through our different models here, I was most drawn to the open questioning here as displayed in the video through our Canvas, although I did also like the question and response here as well, specifically because it really focuses on having to know the text and therefore be able to extrapolate on it. So you've read it, but you have to go out of it, because the main points of QAR include, as designated, they include that you have the right there question. So if I say, well, what is the activity for week 1? Well, it's right here, the pedagogical models. Whereas if I say the next one is think and search, so what do these things mean? Well, they are right here, but you have to go find them, which would be exploring down here or possibly using an outside source. The next one is the author and you. So you have to read to get the answer, but it's not in the book or in the materials. Here it is. So what exactly is CASA's level of questioning, and how does it promote actual learning? Well, they have to have read what CASA's questioning is, but they have to get it from an outside source or to extrapolate on it. And the last one is on your own. So you have to find the answer. It's completely in yourself. It's not in the book. Now, for mine, I pretended that my students have read part of Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. So in terms of which one I would use for this, I'm very drawn to open questioning, but I also really like the QAR because, again, it reinforces the fact they have to have read it. So the basis for the class discussion is the QAR, but it opens into the open questioning because I just really like that model and it seems to me the best, especially because in our example video here, one of the things that I really liked about it was how the students would say a thought and then they would say, does anyone else have anything? And they would pick one of their classmates in order to carry on the conversation. So I really liked that. It was a continuous thing. It also wasn't teacher-led, which I appreciated because the students were really into it. So in terms of some questions that I would implement here, I have, what do you see when you read the passage? What kind of environment is it? Given that it's Frankenstein, it's got lots of vivid imagery. It is a bit more gothic, but again, that is the genre as opposed to the aesthetic. Second question is, what worries do you have when reading the passage? And who do you feel more sympathetic towards, Frankenstein or the monster? So again, we're going back to open questioning, but it's sort of a QAR thing because it's an open question, but they have to have read the material in order to answer it. And I do focus more on the author and you as well as on your own for QAR because those are much more expressive thinking. And since this is my English class, I will state that I do focus heavily on that. Now for the closing activity here that we are supposed to go over as well as have them demonstrate their understanding, a few things I liked. First off, the many hats of a teacher here, ideas for ending a lesson. I did like this graph, what stuck out to you today, so it's something you can ask. Again, it focuses on my love of the open questioning because, well, here it is. You know, my biggest success today was, oh, I finally understood the monster, or what has something inspired you today? Now, that one I will say is more for outside, but today I have learned about the philosophy of Dr. Frankenstein, things of that nature. I will say, however, that from edutopia.org up here, Todd Finley gave 22 of them, and I really like this $2 summary. It's sort of like the telegraphs of old. They have to write a $2 or more summary of the lesson. So if they pretend that each word is worth 10 cents, that means they can only write 20 words. Or if you give them a $3, you know, they can only write 30 words, but they have to be succinct and they have to put it down in a way that's still understandable. So I like this. It's a fun exercise. You know, they always try to make jokes about how students will extend the word limit on essays, but this one they have to cut it down. And given that I am very much prone to fanciful writing, I use passive voice a lot, which uses more words as opposed to active, which is straight to the point and therefore uses less words. So I really like this activity. I'm actually going to copy this down and use it in lessons later on, because this is a great way to have students really put it down, you know, get to the facts, hit hard. So that being said, those are my chosen models, my questions, and this is my closing activity. Thank you so much for joining me.